Great. I'm going to call this meeting to order. First of all, I'll recognize that we're meeting on the traditional and unceded territory of the Comox First Nation. This public hearing is being conducted electronically and live streamed online in accordance with the guidelines of Ministerial Order M192. This public hearing is being held in accordance with the Local Government Act in order to consider the following proposed bylaw. Bylaw number 602, Rural Comox Valley Zoning Bylaw number 520-2019, Amendment number 3. I'll just note that Director Arbor is here in the room, and we may have Director Grieve come online via Zoom. The order of business at this public hearing will proceed as follows. An introduction of the application and a summary of written submissions from the public by CVRD staff, any representation from the public, questions of the directors to the speakers and/or staff. At this public hearing, any person who believes that his or her interests are affected by the proposal shall be given an opportunity to be heard. However, it is important that all who speak at this meeting restrict their remarks to matters contained within the bylaw. You can participate in this public hearing by any of the following ways. By telephone, by calling 1-778-907-2071. Enter meeting ID 811-4246-7061. Should be on the screen as well. If you press 9 or *9 to be added to the queue. You can also participate via Zoom video conference. You can join the meeting electronically by visiting www.comoxvalleyrd.ca/public hearings and clicking on the registration link. After entering your name and email address, you will receive an email with the web link to join the meeting. You can also participate by emailing your comments to planning@comoxvalleyrd.ca. Please note that email comments must be received before the conclusion of this meeting. If you are participating via Zoom and are having technical difficulties, please use the Q&A feature to contact staff and we'll try to assist. If you are participating via telephone, in order to provide oral comments, please press *9 to be placed in the queue. Please note that comments are not being accepted on the CVRD's YouTube channel live stream. When it's your turn to speak and you're called on, please state your name, area of residence, and any organization you may represent, and then give your views on the proposed bylaw. Please be advised that information submitted during the public hearing will form part of the public record and will be posted on the Comox Valley Regional District's website. In order for everyone to have an opportunity to speak, each person's remarks will be limited to 3 minutes. All people wishing to speak will be heard a first time before we will take supplementary comments, which must contain new information from the first time you spoke. Following your presentation, directors may ask questions, but are primarily here to listen and will not debate the issue with you. In order for all arguments to be heard, please refrain from any conduct that would intimidate others or discourage them from speaking. After the public hearing is over, all of the information has been received to date, including the information presented at this public hearing, will be presented to the Comox Valley Regional District's Board of Directors. The CVRD board may, without further notice, make a decision about the proposal and bylaw. Copies of all correspondence and referrals received, as well as other pertinent information, is available on the CVRD website. Staff will review any written materials received after the close of the hearing, but these submissions cannot and will not be reviewed by the directors or by the CVRD board in the course of making a decision of the proposed bylaw. All right, we're going to go to the introduction of the application and written submissions received. So I'm going to ask CVRD staff to introduce the application being considered, followed by a summary of any written submissions received prior to this hearing. So over to Brian Tell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The item for public hearing tonight is for bylaw number 602, which is an amendment to bylaw number 520, being the rural Comox Valley zoning bylaw. This zoning bylaw was adopted on October 29th, 2019. Since then, planning staff discovered opportunities for refinements and corrections. Therefore, staff proposed an amending bylaw with these changes and also fulfill a board request to reduce the minimum lot area requirement for keeping of chickens and beekeeping on residential lots. In summary, the changes include aforementioned domestic agriculture uses, in which the proposed bylaw will eliminate the minimum of 0.2 hectares requirement to have domestic agriculture. The proposal is to permit up to 4 chickens and 2 bee colonies on lots less than 0.2 hectares in residential zones. For lots 0.2 hectares or greater, the current maximum of 6 chickens and 4 bee colonies remain. Other amendments include fixing links to IMAP, consolidating the residential 1B zone to the residential 1 zone in the map. The text was consolidated, but somehow the map did not, so this will fix that. Another amendment is to improve or clarify the definition of front lot line, as the current definition is causing confusion for corner lots or lots with multiple highway frontages. Another change is to allow carriage houses on some slopes, because the current zoning bylaw limits carriage houses to be on flat ground, which is not practical in regional districts as there's a variety of topography. The change is to reintroduce back a use for a Mount Washington Comprehensive Development Zone, because in the Resort Facilities West District, the campground use was replaced with tourist accommodation. And the intent of that change was to provide more opportunities, such as motels, hotels, lodges, and cabins for the traveling public. But in consultation or communications with the resort owner, the campground use should be brought back in order to allow them to develop Mount Washington. And this is consistent with the OCP, as Mount Washington is a settlement node. Other changes include introducing a minimum fence height for outdoor swimming pools of 1.5 meter in order to protect especially unsupervised young children from the hazards of falling into the pool and drown. And also to clarify or to remove ambiguity about site triangles. Currently, the zoning bylaw has 2 conflicting stance on site triangles. Site triangles are meant to keep the corners clear of obstructions, free of view for drivers to see around the corners in order to have road safety for pedestrians, bicyclists, and other vehicles. So these are the general changes proposed in this bylaw. In the referral process, staff sent out this bylaw for external agencies and First Nations for comments. All I can say in summary, the First Nations who responded, the external agencies who responded, as well as all of the advisory planning commissions and the ACT APCs, they all supported the zoning bylaw amendment. As of today, staff has received 2 email letters. They're from the same household. They're located at 1162 Yates Road in Comox in Electoral Area B. These 2 emails, in summary, they did not support the keeping of backyard chickens as there are concerns about rats and other predators that may be introduced in the neighborhood. So this is a summary of the research and the consultations that have been done so far for the proposed bylaw number 602, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Brian. As there isn't an external applicant for this proposal, for the proposed bylaw amendment, we'll now move to the representations from the public. For those members of the public who would like to meet or to make comments, please address the directors and restrict your comments to the proposed bylaw being considered, whether you are in favor or opposed to any particular application or argument. Please be respectful of the directors, CVRD staff, and other members of the public. I do not see anyone on Zoom, and we do not have anyone here in the regional district office. So I note that there are no members of the public present on this or on the Zoom call. So we're going to move on to consider any questions from the directors. Directors, would you have any, Director Arbor, do you have any questions of the staff or any in particular around the amendments?
Does staff have any comment on the rat issues and whether that's something we've seen in other jurisdictions, whether it's caused problems or anything like that?
Through the chair to director, I'm not involved in that realm of things, as usually if there are concerns like that, they often tend to go to the bylaw enforcement officers first. And there are guidelines, provincial guidelines that one should follow in keeping of chickens and other that will guide them to help control any pest concerns. So the short answer is not me, not me professionally, as I'm not in that realm of enforcement or receiving complaints about pests or concerns with keeping of chickens or other farm animals.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. So this is now the final call for public input, including verbal and electronic submissions. Once the hearing is declared to be terminated, no additional submissions will be accepted. And have we received any emails in the interim? Right. Sure, we'll just wait to see. No? Okay, thank you. So following the close of the meeting, the directors will not be able to speak with members of the public about matters discussed at the hearing. Please refrain from contacting them after this public hearing to discuss the matter. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to discuss them with the CVRD staff members. Your cooperation is appreciated. I will call a second time for any further submissions. And I'll give it a few seconds. And I'll call a third time and final time for any further submissions regarding the proposed bylaw. And I'll just wait and confirm that we don't have any on Zoom. And Ton, any emails come through? Okay. I now declare this